Good morning and welcome to the new work week. I'm meteorologist Kevin Smith here at the National Weather Service in Pocatello. This is another edition of your weather hazard briefing for Monday, July 31st. As we've been talking about for several days, we do have a big pattern change that is on our doorstep, and we're taking our time here trying to get out of that hot, dry, somewhat breezy pattern that we've been in here for a week and a half for much of the region. We're still inching closer and closer to being out of that and into a new, more moist air mass coming in, courtesy of the southwest monsoon. Before we quite get there, we do have one more red flag warning that is in effect today. I'll show you that graphically here in just a moment. So those hot, dry, breezy conditions are weakening. Okay, think of today into tomorrow as kind of a transition period between the two air masses, but we're holding on to that air mass, particularly up across the central mountains where we're expecting the best overlap of the driest and breeziest conditions, again, prompting that red flag warning. Again, transition days here. So moisture is already increasing today. Thunderstorms are back in the forecast over a decent chunk of the forecast area this afternoon. So we are expecting that activity to begin after about 1 to 2 o'clock today, roughly over eastern half of the area. I'll show you a graphic of that here in just a moment. Basically from portions of the Snake Plain into the southern and eastern highlands, looking at a chance of isolated to scattered thunderstorm coverage this afternoon. And then as we head into Wednesday and Thursday, these 2 days are still looking like the wettest period here with monsoon moisture firmly in place by that time across the region. So widespread showers and thunderstorms expected, possibly with some heavy rainfall and a little localized flooding concerns on those 2 days, and much cooler temperatures moving into the area as well. So it's going to be a very welcome break from the heat for many of you out there. Weather risk outlook here over the next 5 days, very similar to what we've been showing you the past couple mornings. Again, red flag warning in effect today for portions of the central mountains. We'll jump to that here in just a moment. Some isolated to scattered thunderstorms, particularly across the highlands here, across the south and east, but perhaps an isolated thunderstorm or two sneaking into southern and eastern portions of the Snake Plain as well. So if you're in Pocatello, Idaho Falls, or Rexburg, can't completely rule out something trying to come your way here this afternoon. As we go into Tuesday, those thunderstorms kind of slide southward just a little bit across the South Hills region and continue across the southeast and the northeast highlands. Possibly some heavier rainfall coming into that activity here in the southeast highlands. Today into tomorrow, still generally not expecting a lot in the way of very heavy rain or flood concern, but storms will be increasingly slow moving, particularly as we go into the day on Tuesday. So again, we're transitioning today into tomorrow from that hot, dry, breezy air mass into the monsoon moisture. Wednesday, Thursday, we're still lighting you up here for moderate impacts across the entire southeast Idaho forecast area. Numerous showers and thunderstorms out there, localized heavy rain, maybe some flash flood concern in just a couple spots. Very hard to pin those down with much lead time, but wherever the heaviest thunderstorms set up and are either very slow moving or they pass over the same area again and again, we're going to have to be on the lookout for some of that heavier rain and flooding potential. We ease back just a little bit here on Friday. There's still going to be quite a few showers and thunderstorms, but we may start trying to transition back toward just a little bit drier air mass, a little bit less moisture out there as we head toward the end of the week into next weekend. So again, Wednesday, Thursday, still really standing out to us as the wettest days of this pattern. Taking a look at the satellite here early this morning as you're waking up, just like the last couple mornings, we have some mid to high level clouds that are drifting through the region, not particularly impactful to anyone, and we're generally not seeing any precipitation out of this morning. Here's that red flag warning. This should be the last one. I think as we bring that moisture in, we back off on those dry conditions and we bring the winds down just a little bit here as we go forward. We're probably going to ease back and step away from the critical fire weather conditions. But again, one more red flag in effect for our fire weather partners here. This covers zone 475 and 476 here in portions of the Central Mountains. So as you can see, north and east of Stanley, this includes Chalice, Salmon, also Leodore. It's to the north of Arco. Still will be quite dry here from the eastern Magic Valley into the Snake Plain as well, but again, just not seeing quite the critical overlap there of low relative humidity and wind. It's really going to be focused up across the Central Mountains today. Low temperatures as you head out this morning, sounding like a broken record here, but we're in the upper 50s to low 60s, just like the past couple mornings. Not unusual for this time of year. And then here's the wind gusts and the relative humidity values we are forecasting for this afternoon and this evening that are prompting that red flag warning. Over here on the left, relative humidity, you can see still, even though we're in transition here between air masses, we're still dropping to 10 to 15% across portions of the Central Mountains into the Arco Desert region, portions of the Magic Valley as well. But look over here to the east. We're actually only bottoming out at about 25 to 35% relative humidity as you head into the eastern highlands and Bear Lake region. So this is a sign that that moisture is starting to move in from the south. It's already pooling down in Utah. It is headed into our region over the next several days. Over here on the right, wind gusts this afternoon and early this evening. Not quite as strong for most of you as yesterday, but where you see the darker blues here, we're exceeding 20 miles an hour. We'll see some spots gust 25 to 30 miles an hour up here in the Central Mountains where the red flag warning is in effect. Severe weather outlook today from our Storm Prediction Center. We are not highlighted in any sort of risk level for severe weather, but I show this to you because it does a really good job at kind of highlighting the areas where those thunderstorms will move in today. Best coverage, I think, is going to be here in the eastern highlands, particularly the central eastern highlands from about Driggs and Ryrie southward. May see some of that scattered thunderstorm coverage. We'll see some of that down into the south central highlands as well. And then as you get out here into the Snake Plain on kind of the western fringes of this area, a more isolated activity possible this afternoon. Looking through all the parameters, not looking like a severe weather setup. Certainly, we may still see a storm or two that tries to get a little zesty on us this afternoon and produce a couple wind gusts or some small hail, and we'll certainly be watching for any of those concerns here through the day. Just like yesterday, I wanted to show you these two graphics to look at some trends and to kind of see where things are standing out to us here. So there's a lot of numbers, but over here on the left, this is our probability of precipitation. So when we say, oh, there's a 20% chance of thunderstorms, that's the numbers you're seeing here on this graphic. Across the top here, we start out today with Monday and we go through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So out over the next several days, right into early next weekend. And then we have several cities picked out over here on the left-hand side. So as you pick your city of choice or cities of choice and head across the chart here, really this bright area in the middle here, this is our Wednesday and Thursday period of wettest conditions. You can see our chance of rain, our probability of precipitation is getting to 30, 40, 50% just about everywhere across southeast Idaho. And then a few spots like Driggs, Montpelier, Soda Springs, getting up 60 to 80% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Again, Wednesday, Thursday really lighting up here. And then you see the coloring, the shading here drop off just a little bit as we go into Friday and Saturday. Still potential for some active weather. You can see Friday 2 p.m. column here, many areas still getting 30 to 50% chance of rainfall, but again, easing back just a little bit from that most active period. And then finally over here on the right, here's your trends in our forecast high temperatures. And I really can say there's just 2 more days. If we can make it through 2 more days of pretty warm conditions here with temperatures in the upper 80s to even some low 90s, you can see our shading becomes much cooler. These colors back off here as we go into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And where you see the green, we're looking up at Chalice, also Driggs, Montpelier, Sun Valley, Ketchum. That's where temperatures are only topping out in the 60s for highs starting on Wednesday, but particularly Thursday and Friday. And let me pick a warmer spot here. Pocatello, 79 for your current forecast high for Wednesday, 77 for Thursday. So even in some of our lower elevation population centers that tend to do a little bit warmer, the extra cloud cover, that extra moisture, that extra shower and thunderstorm activity this week with the monsoon moisture, certainly going to bring things down and give us a break from some of that heat. Remember, Wednesday and Thursday are standing out for our best chance of heavy rainfall and localized flooding. From our Weather Prediction Center, this is the excessive rainfall outlook for Wednesday. Again, that's the first of those 2 higher impact days. And you can see the green shading here covering almost the entire forecast area. That is a marginal risk of excessive rainfall leading to flash flooding. And then in yellow, basically from the Snake Plain corridor down across the southern and eastern highlands and Bear Lake, that is the next category up, a slight risk of excessive rainfall leading to flash flooding. So when we get into slight risk here, whether it's for severe weather or excessive rainfall, that's certainly something to take note of. We don't see many of these outlooks every year out here in our area. So again, Wednesday, Thursday, certainly standing out for the best chance of some localized flooding. That's it for your briefing this morning. As always, questions, comments, concerns, we are here 24/7. Please feel free to reach out to us and stay tuned as we continue to monitor all of the active weather on the way for the region this week. Everyone have a great Monday.